everyone, so this is Erica here. Today I'm going to do a book tag, and it's called the Bookshelf Scavenger Hunt tag, and it's originally created by TheLibraryOfSarah, and I'm going to leave her link down below so you can check that out. I wasn't personally tagged for this particular book tag, but I thought it'd be fun to do, so I decided to do it as well. And the rules are really simple. All you have to do is do a scavenger hunt on your bookshelf in which you have to find a book that meet each criteria on the list that Sarah has provided for us. And I believe there's about 20 different criteria that you need to meet. So like I said, it's really simple. So before I get started, some of the books that I'm going to be talking about I already have right next to me because I have a bookshelf in my room. So I just grabbed the ones that I need from that bookshelf and bring it with me here, and then the rest I'm going to be getting from these two mini bookshelves right behind me, which is in my living room. So yeah, and I tend to ramble a lot, so I think this video is going to be longer than expected, so please bear with me. If you don't watch the entire video, that's okay. So yeah, let's get started. I'm gonna get my list. 1 second. Okay. Okay, the first thing you need to find is find an author's name or title with a letter Z, as in zebra, in it. I know Marcus Zuzak's The Book Thief comes to mind. Unfortunately, I actually don't have a physical copy of that book. I only have it as an ebook, so I think I have one. I think I know I have one. I know for sure I have one. And I bought this book a while back, way back in high school. So it is, let me just have to find it. And it is Gabrielle Zevin's Elsewhere. I'm so sorry for the really bad video quality, but as you can see, her last name starts with Z, so it's Zevin. Yeah. And this book is basically about a girl named Liz who dies at the age of 15, and she ends up at this place called Elsewhere. And Elsewhere is kind of like planet Earth, except you age backwards. And by the time you become a baby, you get reborn again. So Liz doesn't like this. The book is just focused on Liz coming to terms with her situation. If the premise interests you, I do recommend it. I think I did like the book. So yeah, it's Elsewhere by Gabrielle Zevin. The next book that you need to find is find a classic. I actually have a designated section for my classic. If you see from the back, there's one right there. And I'm going to grab Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. This is my very first classic novel. I thought it was To Kill a Mockingbird or Catcher in the Rye, but it's not. It's Great Expectations. I read this when I was 9, and I actually didn't get the story. I thought it was a children's book, to be honest with you. A really long children's book. I think it has to do with the cover because it has a little boy, which is Pip, and Stella right there. So I thought it was a children's book. I didn't get it the first time, like I said, but I had to reread it when I was much older, in teenage years, to gain better comprehension of what happened in the book. But overall, it was an okay read. Charles Dickens isn't exactly one of my favorite authors, but I still read his works regardless. So yeah, Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. The next thing you need to find is find a book with a key on it. This one, I only have one book because there's a cover, part of the cover, excuse me, let me go back. Part of the title has the word key on it. So it's Lock and Key by Sarah Desson. Let me just grab it from my bottom shelf. It's, yeah, as you can see, there is a key at the bottom. It's really tiny, and there's a reflection of the key. This book, I actually have no idea what it's about. All you know is the main character's name is Ruby. If you want to know the synopsis, please go on Goodreads because I don't remember much of the story. I think I was recommending it to one of my friends, but I don't even know if I liked the book or not. But yeah, it's Lock and Key by Sarah Desson. The next thing you need to find is find something on your bookshelf that is not a book. I have a lot of things on my bookshelf that is not a book, but right behind me it's all books. But my other big bookshelf, I have a lot of things that is not bookish related. And the thing that I grabbed is my Paris-themed photo album that I received from my friend for my 17th birthday, which was years ago. And I thought it was really pretty because it's Paris themed. It has the Eiffel Tower and has a little ribbon on the side of the spine. So that's one of the things I have on my bookshelf that is not a book. And I think this my photo album consists of my graduation photos and prom photos. So that was a long time ago. The next thing you need to find is find a book with a girl on the cover. 95% of my books probably has a girl on the cover, so this one shouldn't be too difficult. And I am going to talk about, oh my god, where is the book that I was going to talk about? Oh, here it is. 13 Reasons Why by J. Asher. So J. Asher, and as you can see, there's a girl on the cover. She's on a swing set, and it is Hannah, our main character. If you read my book review on this book, I actually didn't like it as much as I wanted to. At the end of the day, I thought Hannah was vindictive, and she had shallow reasons for committing suicide. I know some people think otherwise, but that's just me. I did give the book 3 or 3.5 stars, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I'm not saying that you shouldn't read this book. I'm not discouraging anyone from reading this book, but I wasn't a fan of it. It's definitely a good book if you want food for thought. So yeah, 13 Reasons Why by J. Asher. The next thing that you need to find is find a book that has an animal in it. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be in the story or part of the cover, but I think I do have one that has it in the story and in the cover. And it is The Tale of Despero, by Kate DiCamillo. And as you can see, we have, I'm guessing this is Despero, the mouse. So that's an animal, and then he's in the story. I know I think there's a film adaptation of this book, but I haven't watched it, and I actually haven't read this book either, but I know it's probably going to be a cute little children's book. So yeah, The Tale of Despero by Kate DiCamillo. Moving on. The next thing that you need to find is find a book with a male protagonist in it. I have a lot of books too that has a male protagonist. I was thinking of The Maze Runner, but I'm just gonna pass on that and going to grab this one, which is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. As you know, our main character is Charlie, the wallflower, and this is one of my favorite books. I actually read this while I was in college, which was kind of my reading regret. I wish I read it sooner, but I'm so glad I did read it regardless. One of my favorite aspects of this book is the quotable quotes, and I do definitely recommend this book. I know some people find it overrated, but I liked it. Everyone has a different opinion, so this is a good book. So yeah. The next thing you need to find is find a book with only words on it. This was so difficult. I think I only have 2 books that has words on the title cover, because half of the books, all the books I own have pictures in it. And I did find one, and it came from my big bookshelf, and it is Digital Fortress by Dan Brown. As you can see, it's all words and numbers. There's no pictures. And this book, I think I was reading this, oh my goodness, my last year at university, and then I got busy for some reason for studying my finals and stopped reading it. Let me check. Yeah, I do have a bookmark. I stopped at page 57. So I might have to reread this from the very beginning. I don't remember much of the story, but I know it's a thriller. As you can see, it says a thriller right there. So this should be an interesting read. But yeah, Digital Fortress by Dan Brown. The next thing that you need to find is find a book with illustrations in it. I'm thinking of children's book because I do have a lot of children's books on my shelf from like when I was a kid. But I know there's a novel that has illustrations in it, and I'm going to go with Scott Westerfeld's Leviathan. I actually don't know what this book is about. I bought this book just based on the cover alone. I thought it's really cool, but it does actually have illustrations in it. I just need to find it. I just need to find some illustrations. Yeah, it's within the book. There's some illustrations in the book. Whoa, let me see. Oh, there is one right here. So you can see. There is an illustration, and it's a girl being a total badass, I think. But yeah, this is Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld. I am quite excited to read it, actually. I think it's a trilogy, so yeah. The next thing I need to find is find a book with gold lettering. I grabbed this one from my big bookshelf again, and it is A Wrinkle in Time by Madeline Liangla. As you can see, it's gold lettering, the title. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I think I pronounced her last name wrong. But yeah, I haven't read this book either. I know it's a part of a series. I've heard some good things about this book, so I'm excited to read it. And it seems like it's a really short book. It's probably going to be a read in one sitting for me. So, yeah, A Wrinkle in Time. The next thing I need to find is find a diary, true or fictional. Diary of Anne Frank comes to mind, but I don't have the book. I don't have the book at all. So I'm going to go with Go Ask Alice by Anonymous. I actually don't know who the author was. And I read this book when I was in high school as well. And I recall it's about a girl and her drug addiction, I think. Please correct me if I'm totally wrong on the whole entire book. But as you can see, it is written diary entry, if you can see clearly. But yeah, it's Go Ask Alice. The next thing I need to find is find a book written by someone with a common name like Smith. I actually don't have an author, well, Smith as an author in my book collection, but I'm just going to go with another Dan Brown book. And it is going to be The Lost Symbol by Dan Brown. Like most of my Dan Brown books that I own, they have not been read, like the Da Vinci Code. I think I've read one. I don't recall which one it was, but I haven't read this book either. I actually own 2 copies of it, one in paperback and hardback, as you can see. So I'll read it eventually. Yeah, eventually. So The Lost Symbol by Dan Brown. The next one I need to find is, give me 1 second. I'm trying to get my list. Okay. Find a book that has a close-up of something on it. I was going to talk about Lolita because I really hate the book cover in the edition that I own. But I'm going to go with this one. It's, oh my god, okay. It's The Iron King by Julie Kagawa. As you can see, there's a close-up picture of Megan, our main character. This series, I liked it. It wasn't the best fantasy series I've read, but I enjoyed it. Megan was an okay heroine. She wasn't exactly like, wow, I love her. She was okay. The highlight of the series for me was Grimalkin, the fake cat. I liked him because he was very witty, sarcastic, and just really funny. Like, you'll like him. He probably would be your favorite character in the book as well if you read it. Okay, moving on. The next thing that you need to find is find a book on your shelf that takes place in the earliest time period. I actually don't know about this one. I think, as you can see, I have a William Shakespeare book, but I'm not gonna grab that one because I think some of them this one is probably earlier time period, and it is Geoffrey Chaucer's The Canterbury Tales. It takes place in medieval England in the 14th century. That's a really early time period, so I think this is the one. This is the book that had the earliest time period, if I'm correct. But yeah, I haven't read it either. I'll read it eventually, someday. Yeah. The next thing that you need to find is find a hardcover without a book jacket. I'm gonna pick 2 for this one, because I'm actually sad about this one, because it is my Harry Potter books. It is the Order of the Phoenix and the Half-Blood Prince. This one, I think I lost them while I was packing up. Moving out of my grandparents' house. So yeah, I don't know what happened. I guess I was reading these books, and I tend to take out the dust jackets when I read them because they're distracting. So I forgot to put them back, and then I was packing them and forgot to put them, and then my grandpa probably threw it away because he thought it was trash. Basically, anything that looks like it's not being used is trash. But yeah, I'm really sad, but I can't do anything about it now. So, and then the next one is find a teal turquoise colored book. This one I'm going to go with this one, Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli. I read this book in middle school, so I don't recall much of the story. All I know is the main character is Stargirl, and the guy is named Leo, and he's in love with Stargirl. Well, he first thinks she's weird, but as he gets to know her, he falls in love with her. So it's kind of like a contemporary young adult romance book. I think I liked it, so I probably would recommend it. if you read the book, I don't know, comment on it, I guess. The next one is find a book with stars on it. This one's easy because I do recall a book having stars on the cover, and is Le Petit Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Please correct me if I'm pronouncing his last name wrong. I am not French, so if you're French, please correct me. I actually read this in French. I haven't read the English version, and this was hard to read. I had to buy a French dictionary, had to use Google Translator, but I'm not sure if Google was even reliable. I don't know, I'm skeptical about Google Translate. But yeah, I actually like this book. It's one of my favorite classic books. I adore The Little Prince. There's many great philosophies in this book. I know some people say it's just a children's book, but an adult can read it for metaphorical meaning. But yeah, I enjoy this book a lot. And it has illustrations on it, so it's cute. I may have to read the English version just to see the difference. That makes sense. But yeah, and then finally, find a non-young adult book. This one is I'm going to choose The 13th Tale by Diane Satterfield. If you don't know me by now, I judge a book by its cover, so anything that looks pretty to me, I will grab, even if I have no freaking clue what the book is about. And in this situation, this book was one of them. I actually don't know what the book is about. I just thought the cover was really pretty. But I think it's probably going to be a boring book. I don't know. But it's an adult fiction, not in a sense where it has like some explicit things, but it's just more of a target audience are adults in general. But yeah, I don't know. I'll read it eventually too. But it's hard. I'm having a hard time starting this book. But again, it's The 13th Tale by Diane Satterfield. So basically that's it for the book tag. I know it's really long. It's a really long video. But I'm not going to tag anyone particular because I actually don't have a list of who I want to tag. So anyone who watched the video and wants to do this tag, I suggest you do it. But whether you do a video or a written post, whichever is convenient for you. And yeah, so that's it for today. I hope you all have a wonderful day. So bye guys.